I didn't make a scene. Not when the door slammed behind her. Not when the silence stretched out like a long, empty road ahead of me. I didn't beg. I didn't shout her name. I didn't chase her down the hallway, throwing myself at her feet, pleading for her to stay. Because sometimes, when you love someone too much, you realize that you've already given everything, and there's nothing left to give. So I just let her walk away. The apartment felt smaller after she left, like the air itself had been sucked out of the walls. The scent of her perfume still lingered, clinging to the couch cushions and the old sweaters she left behind. It was as though the whole place was trapped in that moment, the moment she decided she was done. But I didn't cry. I didn't even feel angry. Just empty. Empty in a way I didn't know I could be. Empty in a way I wasn't sure I could ever fill again. The days that followed were a blur. I went through the motions, work, errands, sleep. But none of it mattered. None of it felt real. Because without her, everything just felt like noise. Loud, distant, pointless noise. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't ask mutual friends how she was doing. I didn't need to. I knew how she was doing. She was living her life without me, and I was living without her. That was enough of an answer. And as much as it hurt, I knew it was for the best. Sometimes love is about letting go, even when your heart doesn't want to. So, I let go. Quietly. Because the hardest thing isn't walking away from someone you love. It's walking away from the version of yourself you were when they were still beside you. I told myself I would be okay, that it would take time, but I would heal. And slowly, over the next few months, I did. I started going to the gym again. I started cooking for myself. I started reading books I'd put down while we were together. I started rediscovering who I was before she became my everything. And it wasn't easy. It was messy. Some nights, I still missed her. I still reached for my phone, thinking I'd find a message from her waiting to make everything feel right again. But there was nothing. And after a while, that nothing became easier to live with than the hope of something that would never come. But then one day, my phone lit up. It was her name. I froze. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to feel that old, familiar ache creeping up my throat. But I couldn't help it. I opened the message. "Can we talk?" it read. I stared at those words for what felt like an eternity, trying to decide what to do. Should I reply? Should I ignore it? Should I let the past stay where it belonged? But I couldn't just ignore her. Not after everything. So I responded, "If you want closure, I'll listen. But if you're not sure, then don't come."
It took a few days before she finally showed up. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if she was coming to apologize, to explain, or to beg for me to take her back. All I knew was that I couldn't go back to who I was before. I had to protect myself this time. I couldn't just throw myself into something that would only leave me broken again. When she walked through the door, it was like time stopped. She looked the same, but different. Her hair was a little longer, her eyes a little sadder. She wasn't the same person who left, and I wasn't the same person who let her go. There was a quiet tension in the air, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, she broke the silence. "I made a mistake," she said, her voice trembling. I could see the tears welling up in her eyes. "I thought I needed more. I thought I could find something better, but it wasn't you. You were always what I needed. I was just too blind to see it." I didn't respond right away. I couldn't, because part of me wanted to take her in my arms, forgive her, and go back to the way things were, but I knew I couldn't. I couldn't go back, not after everything. She took a deep breath and continued. "I was wrong to walk away. I regret it. I regret not fighting for us. I regret everything." I felt the weight of her words settle over me like a heavy blanket, but I didn't let it pull me under. I kept my distance, emotionally and physically, because I had to. I had to stay strong for myself. "I stayed silent when you left," I said softly, my voice steady. Not because I didn't care, but because I needed to hear myself again. And I did. I found myself again. And now, I'm not the person you left behind. She looked at me, her eyes filled with both regret and something else. Hope, maybe, or guilt. "I know," she whispered, "and I'm sorry. I wish I could take it all back. I wish I had never walked away." I didn't answer right away. What could I say? The past was the past. And the future? Well, that was up to both of us, but I couldn't just forgive and forget. Not this time. "I think it's too late for us," I said quietly, my voice firm but kind. Her face fell, but I didn't regret saying it, because sometimes the hardest thing to do isn't letting go of someone else. It's letting go of the version of yourself that was waiting for them to come back. She stood up, slowly, and looked at me one last time. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. I nodded, but I didn't reach for her. "I know," I said, "but I've already moved on. And this time, I'm moving forward without you." And with that, she left. But this time, I didn't watch her go. I stayed standing, strong and steady, knowing that the only thing I needed to hold on to now was me. If you've ever had to let someone go, even when it hurt more than anything, you're not alone. Sometimes, love means choosing yourself when everything else is falling apart. And that's okay, because in the end, the only person you're guaranteed to have is you.